Let's look at how you can transform variables from one data type to another one in PineScript. And it's important to know because sometimes it might cause you some problems. So in PineScript, there is some automatic data casting sometimes happening. So for example, here I have an example. So this operator we will learn a bit later in the course, but it is following that this operator on this place expects to see boolean variable true or false. But I pass a float basically, and still it will work fine. It will give me like some results. It will cast it to true, and a bit later in the video explain you why. So it works pretty well. But in another example here I have, if I define like a variable and it's 0, it will assume that it's integer, and if I will try to assign to it later in the code float value, it will give me an error. Let's assign the chart. Here you can see it raises an error, so it doesn't work. So I think this is important to know how we can cast different variables, different types. So I created like a small widget. Let's edit the chart and see how it looks, and I will explain you briefly what are these functions, how do they work. Let's start with int function. So int function takes as an argument a float number and outputs to you integer number, and it will be closest integer number that is lower than float number you passed to this function. So here you can see a few examples of how it works. I passed like 314, 350, 399 to it, and as you can see in the result I always have 3. Actually, there is another function math.floor, and it works completely the same as int function, so it has the same results for all these cases. We have also a math.round function, and actually it rounds the number to the closest int number. So as you can see, 314 is 3, 350 already 4, and 399 is 4 again. So as you can see, it's quite simple. Also, we have a float function. So float function takes integer as an argument and outputs to you a float number. So this 3 is actually float number, but it's just hard to see from here. Also, we have a bool function. So a bool function also take as an argument like any number, and it works the following way. So if number is 0, it will output you false. If you will pass to this function anything else except 0, it will be true. So basically, as you can see here, I pass 0, it's false. I pass 1, it's true. I pass random float number, it's true again. So as you can see, it's pretty simple. Also, there is a pretty useful function str.string that actually can allow you to transform your numbers into strings. And with you can just pass your numbers as an only argument, and you will have basically the same number representation but in a string format. That's nice, but it's not so interesting. So what is interesting is that this function has the second argument, and you can pass different values for this format basically. So there are 3 things you can pass, like standard things is that format mintick. So basically this function will look at your current symbol. It will take like syminfo mintick built-in variable, and based on this variable it will compute you your result with the precision that basically is the same as like mintick. So it's quite nice. Also, you can pass format.percent, and it will round the number for you and will add like a percentage sign to your number quite easily. Also, there is a format.volume format, and that basically will kind of round number a bit, and like really big numbers will make them like with the k with like millions if needed, just to make this number to look more like a volume and not just to look a bit more compact. Also, nice thing is that actually you can pass to string function like a custom mask. Basically, you can see here I have like a mask that is like hash, dot, and 2 hash signs as well. And this basically indicates that I want to have like a number before the dot and 2 numbers after the dot, and it will basically round this number nicely for me. And also here I just output I won't ask it to output me only one number, and it actually rounds it up to 2. Also, there is a function that do opposite things. So basically it takes a string that represents number and converts it into a number. So here, for example, I run following code. So I take basically 1 to 3 as a string. You can see I have a quotes here. I transform this to a number, and I add up 1 just to show that this is actual number. And it works well with integers and also with floats as well. As you can see here, I have a float number as a quote in quotes, and it works well as well. If you will pass something that doesn't look like a number and the PineScript cannot understand and parse it properly, it will output you NaN. So this is not a number basically.